Stefan, the team from Germany, Deputy German Ambassador, and Mr. Geras. This is a conversation we need to have. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very excited. But to be honest, on Friday, a friend of mine from the media told me that the president who was supposed to come for this event could not make it. And I actually checked with the president and he confirmed that he could not make it. And my colleague from Riba, who is currently in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia in international river conference that is going on there, I also could not make it. So initially I thought I was just coming to do a favor to my friend from the media who invited me. But from the conversations coming in here, I think I was just resisting from being where I'm supposed to be. I'm very excited because this topic is very central to my heart. Forget about my portfolio, forget about my job description. This topic is very, very, very close to my heart. Of course, I'm happy that FNF has made their way back to the country. Many may not know in this country, but I'm from a very liberal background. I was a student leader at the University of Nairobi at the age of 21. And on my CV, you can see I achieved quite a lot if you count in terms of the number of demonstrations that I led. It's quite a remarkable and impressive CV. Of course, having been very actively involved in the fight for multi-partyism, what some people like to call the second liberation. So I can understand and I can associate with the circumstances that led from to FNF living in the country. I am also delighted because in my professional career, there's a lot of German in me because I worked many years with German companies. They shaped my thinking, especially in terms of process excellence, which was my area of specialization. Remarkable colleagues like Professor Scheer. I'm sure people from Germany know Scheer or idea Scheer, with whom I worked with for many years in developing, what then was the very popular business process engineering and process excellence and all that. I am actually always delighted by one German company called Fish. Fish. One time I went to a conference and there was somebody from Fish. And he started speaking about fish and the technology. Then I reminded him about the very famous tagline or the slogan for Fish, which was German technology speaks for itself. So I asked him, then why are you speaking? So I'm very much at home and I'm looking forward to establishing my ideological and intellectual connection to the very strict and very high standards of the German way of doing things and very, very, very systematic. Stefan has talked about the need for us to have this political conversation on the issue of globalization. But I think, whereas I agree with that, I am persuaded to think that conversation is not supposed even to be here. It's a wrong place. You'll be preaching to the choir and preaching to the converted. Out of 1.4 billion Africans, 1 billion of them, half a billion are between the age of 0 to 15, and another half a billion are between 15 and 35. So only 400 million people are above the age of 35. In Kenya, it's even more vivid. The retirement age in Kenya is 60 years. People who are 60 years and above are only 6%. I shudder with fear to imagine that in a few years' time I will be part of only 6%. Totally endangered species. So those just two stark realities on this huge reservoir of an asset out of a young, vibrant population. We cannot have that political conversation here. It is just too obvious. What we need is just action. Where we need to have a conversation is in the north. Because for the south, it is not a matter of an option. It's not a nice to have. It's a must have. It's an imperative. Probably we need to have this conversation is in the global north. Because for us, if we have to create the jobs that are required for this 1 billion people who are, within that age bracket in Africa, Africa economies need to be growing consistently at above double-digit rates for 30 years. One, we don't have 30 years to spare. The urgency is much more than that. And two, realistically, I do not see us growing at double digits anytime soon. With the kind of global economic situation that even you in Europe, you can start to imagine, even in Europe, people are now grappling with the effects of inflation, of recession, of overheating currency markets, and you are mature economies. You can start to imagine the pain, the damage which the global south, and especially in Africa, we are paying. Inflation is hitting the roof. All our currencies are under siege, especially from the US dollar, as indeed is Europe, so we're in that space together. The kind of interest rates that are prevailing in the US. I was telling someone, with the this Fed rate over the last 2 years, rising from 0.5% to 5%, 5.5% to be precise. If we are to take that kind of adjustment on pro rata basis, our treasury bills, our government paper should be at 100% as a tenth. Because these ones came from 0.5% to 5%. Since we were in the region of 10%, then pro rata, we should have gone to 100%. So we can start to imagine that. And what that is doing to our currencies. Add to that the global crisis from the conflicts in Russia and Ukraine, in the Middle East. Add to that the unforgiving effects of climate change. Last year, Kenya lost animals worth $3.2 billion due to drought. $3.2 billion, not from rich people, from poor people. Yeah, it could have even been worse, even if it was from rich people. But the people who lost these animals are the poorest of the poor. So we continue to pay a disproportionate price for climate change and climate inaction. And that we cannot talk about it enough in terms of who is contributing what and who is paying for what. Look at us in Kenya now, coming from that situation of losing animals to drought, to losing close to 200 people to floods.